Hi, welcome to this new session. In this session, we are going to be looking at how we can actually practice some of the things that we have learned so far in this course. And then we are also going to be talking about how we can paste, insert, cut, and do all of this in a more intuitive manner. So bear with us in this video. The video might be a little bit long, but it's like a mini project to actually practice everything we have been learning so far. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel as we move forward. Now, this is a data that contains a lot of columns and some rows. And you can see how everything is looking like. So sometimes this is how our cells look like in a real life. You can see all of this. So this is how this looks like. This is an overview of the data. So we can use this one to move down and see how this looks. So sometimes when you want to go down like this in a particular worksheet, you can use the page up and the page down. So if I click on the page down arrow, page down key in my keyboard, it's going to take me down the cell in a better view. So if I click on the page up will go like this too. Is also an effective way of navigating through the worksheet. So, like I always say, that when you want to work on a data like this, always have a backup in at least two or three places, because as you are working like this, things can get messy and you get stuck. The only way not to run into trouble is to have a backup which you can go and copy and start all over again. Now, if you look at this particular data, there are some things you are going to see. Look at the email address here. Look at it. It's not showing well. So we will need to expand it. Look at the phone number here too. It's not showing well. We will need to expand it. Look at this particular one. It's also not showing well. And this area here is also not showing well. Now, what do we do? So we can start using that method I spoke about in one of the previous sessions and start doing it individually. We do this one, then you come here to do this, come here to do this. But let us look at another way. So, I told us in the previous session that if you want to highlight the whole sheet, you can just click on this particular guy here. So when you click on this particular guy, it will highlight the whole sheet. So you can see the whole sheet has been highlighted. So let's scroll down. You can see it has been highlighted. Let's go sideways. It has been highlighted all over. So assuming I want to copy this particular sheet now, everything inside this sheet, I will just go somewhere here, look at where my arrow is, I will just click and then I will copy it. Now I have copied everything here now. So I can open a new sheet and call it backup sheet. So, and then I will come here, I will click again, and I click. You can see all these options that I can use to paste. So this is the option to paste a formula. So if you are copying a formula from a particular cell and you want to paste it, we use this particular function to paste it. This particular value is another way of pasting, which we are going to be talking about later. But this particular one, which is the first, is actually the default. So we are going to click on it, and what do we have? We have all of our data in this backup sheet. So it's mean that, so and then I will save. So how do I save? I will press Ctrl S. So then I've saved this like that. So I will go back now to the working sheet. You can see that it is still well highlighted. So now I will click on that particular cell that is, you see that customer name is not well established. So I will click on it, double click on it like we demonstrated in the previous session like this. So you can see now that every other place has also been expanded. So look at the email address. The email address now has been expanded. You can see the credit card has been expanded. Where is the phone number? The phone number has been expanded. So instead of us to be clicking on each column that is not well expanded one after the other, this method is more effective. So we click on this icon here, it highlights the whole worksheet, and by just clicking on one of those columns that was not well expanded, it affected every other columns and everything is done at once. So please keep that in mind. Very good. Now we have looked at this data now and you can see how everything is. So another thing I want to show us is that when you have a data like this and you want to have some idea of the column, just click on the column. When you click on the column like this, come down to this lower end, and what do you see? You can see average 0. The average is 0 because this is not a number, so you can't have average of text, isn't it? Good. Count 197. So it tells us that the number of rows where data are present in this particular column is 197. You understand? So, and then we have numerical count. Numerical count are 2. So there are 2 numbers inside this particular cell. Where they are, we don't know. So don't worry about that now. So let's click on the second one, 197 too. Then let's click on this, 197 too. So let's click on the number. So this one is number, you can see 197, but numeric count is 195. So there are 197 rows here, but two of those cells in this column are actually not a number. And you can see that the title here is not a number. You understand now? Now, but you can see the sum of every number here has been given, and then the maximum number is this, the minimum is 0. So there is a 0 in this particular column. So you can see how we can have an idea of what our column is by just looking at this summary here that is designed by Excel. Now, before we move forward, another thing I want us to look at is that if I want to go to the last cell of this column, like we said the other time, I will just press on Control and then down, and then you can see me in the last cell. So if I want to go up again, I can just press Control and up arrow, and I'm at the top again. If I want to go to the right side, I can just press Control and then right key. You can see me now. It has put me at this right side. So I can see that, okay, this is the extent of my cells here. So if I want to go back, I will press Control and then left arrow, and then I'm there. So if I want to highlight everything without highlighting the whole sheet, no, you can highlight everything here. If I click on this place, it will highlight everything, including the part of the sheet that does not contain data. Sometimes we do not want to do that. So sometimes we only want to highlight the part of the sheet that only contain data, particularly if we want to insert that into a table or we want to write a formula that will involve that. So I will just press Control Shift End. You can see now, Control Shift End has taken me to, you can see it now. So I can go back up and down. It has highlighted all those areas without highlighting the parts where there is no data. Now that is that. Assuming I just want to highlight only this column now, I can just do this. But the issue is that when I do this, let me do it again. When I click on this particular icon here on this A or any of this column reference here, if I click on it, it is going to highlight everything in that column. Like it's going to highlight the whole column. But the issue there is that if you go down here, you will see that it's it highlighted the column, everything in the column, including the cells which do not contain anything. You understand now? But if I want to only highlight the part of the column that contain data, I will only press Ctrl Shift down. You can see now that this is what we want. And then if I want to expand this, I will just press Shift. Now I'm pressing my Shift and then my right key arrow. So I can go as much as I want. You can see that this one now I'm in control of how many column that I am highlighting. And if I want to reduce it, I will press the left arrow and then it will go back to where we are coming from. So I want to go back up again, Control up, and then Control plus arrow up arrow key, and then I'm back at the top. So you can see different ways. So let's do it from the top again. Assuming I press my shift, I press the right, you can see it's highlighting it, and then I can go down and go as much as I want. So this is using the shift arrow and the right, left, up and down key. You understand now? So I think we understand this. So we have practiced this now using different examples. Now look at this particular column here, customer name. You see that this customer name contain Mrs., Mr. and Co. So if we want to use this particular column in our analysis, all these Mrs. and Co will not be what we wanted. But we need to put this Mrs. and Mr. in another column so that we can use it to indicate the gender later. So what we want to do now is that we are going to create a new column that will only contain the first name, the second name, and co. So let's say we want to create the first name. So we are going to do like this. So we are going to insert a new column. So when we want to insert a new column, we are going to click on the column where we want that new column to be. So if I click on this particular column now and I click on insert, so insert, you can see now it has put that new column where that column was before. So we are going to use our flash field to get the first name out. So say first name. So we are going to use Linda. So we can use anything. So assuming, so we are going to use Linda based on the proper case. So Linda, so we come down here again and then press Emma. So you can see now that it has given us, then we press enter. So we have gotten our first name. Then let's insert again. So let's get our last name. So let's use Garcia, and then you can see now it has shown also. We just press enter. So that's our last names. So the next thing now is let's insert new column and then the gender. Let's use the gender. So here is Mrs. Mrs. And then, so at this point, because everything here is the same Mrs., it will not want to get the pattern early. So I can just use Control E. If I press Control E, so you can see now it has put everything there. So we have been able to split all this particular column together. So we have splitted it into different entities, which is going to make our analysis straightforward. So I can comfortably delete this particular column now. So I will just click on it. But before I will do that, I will save my work. So let me press Ctrl S. So now the work has been saved. So let me click on this. Let me delete that. Good. So let me save again. And you can see. So assuming there is something that has been done wrongly and I want to go back. So I will just come here to this undo button, click it again. You can see now our column is back. And click this one again. You can see now. So I can always use this undo button as much as possible so that I can undo some things if they were not what I wanted. So I will just press this one again and then we are back. So we are able to do that. Now let's look at another aspect we can also work on. So if you look here, you can see that the other post date is 00000 and it's of no use. So we are going to delete it, and then so that it's out of there, we don't need it. So this one too, 0000, you can see this one too, it's the same thing. So you can actually expand this. Yeah. So these three, one, two, three are going. So what do? You can just click on this and then go on the three of them like this. So and then you can just delete them. So if you look at it from here, from this AJ to all of this place, everything is zero. So you can look down, zero. You can see it's a redundant data. We don't need it for our analysis. So what are you going to do? So it's either I click on it like this and then go like this. You understand now? You can see that this is looking a little bit messy. So where is the better way of doing that? Let's see. So I will click on this. I will press on Control Shift and then press on right arrow. By doing that, it has automatically gone to the end and I press on down. So you can see now that it has gone down automatically. So before we do anything, let's use this horizontal scroll bar to see what we have been able to do. So you can see now that we have been able to highlight this area successfully without having to be dragging our mouse over, which can make things to be messy. So I will click on this area and then I will delete everything. So here this, so shift the cells to the left. So that is that. So now you can see that our data now looks more tidy and it makes more sense. Now, assuming we want our first name to be the first column here, so we can do that. So we just click on it. So you can cut, but I don't like cutting. So let's cut. So if you cut it like this, I will just come here and then click on it and put insert cut cells. You see, you can see now the first name has come here and the first name has disappeared. So it's not the next thing. But usually I like to copy so that if anything wrong happens, I will still have my original data. So by doing this, I copy. So I want it to be in this position. So I click here, I paste, I insert further, insert copied cells. So because I'm cutting the whole column, so I'm inserting. So if I insert like this, you can see now our first name, last name. But because I copied it, the last name is still here. So, and I do this, so you see that this thing is still misbehaving. When it is misbehaving like this, what do? Just press the escape key. So when you press the escape key, everything will disappear. So I can now comfortably delete this particular column. So I prefer using the copy than to use the cut. So with this now, I've been able to rearrange my cell appropriately. So those are the ways through which we can navigate around this thing, and it's going to make our work easy when we are using a spreadsheet. So before we go, let me show you one thing again. Assuming the data does not contain the first name or the last name, but we have the email address like this. So we can say, oh, since we have the email address, let us extract the first name from the email address. And by doing that, we can just insert a new column and then we call it, let's say, first name. So we will just do the same thing. So you can see now we have been able to do that. So this is the power of flash fill and autofill. So I'm going to delete this because it's not useful here. We have it already, so delete. So then I will save my work. So I think at this point, we have been able to see a whole lot of different ways of using everything we have been learning so far in this course. Thank you very much. We are going to be meeting in the next one.